sewing machine. Got the, I don't know if you can see it, the stripes on the insulation. I'm gonna do the black first, then the white. Got a calibrated measuring device to get the right angle. Drew the lines, now we're gonna sew. All right, got the black down. Now I gotta flip it over, put green stripes in between, and put the white down. Shout out to my grandma and my 7th grade home ec teacher. Slowly making progress. Got the worst of this done. Got everything scuffed. The aluminum iodine made a mess. Still got to seal all the cracks and crevices with Pro Seal. And once everything dries, gonna do the insulation on the inside and hopefully build a booth tomorrow and get this thing shot on Wednesday. We'll see. I think it's cleaned pretty good. The stuff that's already through all the galvanized is already starting to rust. So this right here, where the exhaust was, it's pitted pretty bad. A little bit of rust. Nothing really I can do about that. So we're just gonna clean it really good with MEK and hopefully everything sticks. Slowly making progress. Got the insulation on that side, the plate to hold it back. Cleaned up all the cables. Aileron and elevator or stabilizer connected back. Can put that panel back on. Just a little bitty stuff. So time consuming. About to build the paint booth. Maybe spray it Saturday. So we'll see, but got a new nut plate installed there. Block off plate installed there. All the nuts holding that plate in on the other side. Got everything Pro Sealed. That way, no more leaky of oil. And got the oil catch mounted and another hole plugged. So, almost done. Once the paint's on it, I cannot wait. We're gonna be on a downhill stretch. 30 in the morning, still haven't slept, but got a paint booth. Pretty sick. Took a lot of work, but almost ready to shoot some paint. System with the K, got lights, got an inlet filter, and an exhaust fan. Thing's got some suction. You can even feel it coming out of these holes. Got a little custom tray right here for the little small parts. You can swing it around, spray every little angle. Man, I'm excited. We got some help today. $1,200 for the primer and paint, but got it sit there and whatnot. Got the filter. Got it 75 degrees in the booth. Ready to paint. Got it just tacked off. I'm all suited. On the paint. I went with Jet Glow, epoxy primer, polyurethane top coat. This stuff is $350 a quart. So it better last. 1-to-1 mix on the top coat, 30-minute induction times, let it do its thing, and then we're gonna add 10% reducer to get the right consistency. It's a little cold out, nice day, low humidity, but it's 50 degrees. But in here, we got it to about 70, and we can check it with the temperature gauge right here. Oh, let's see. Nice. Got hot air coming in, sucking out right here in the heat lamp. Got the final top coat. See, laid down pretty good. The booth turned out pretty awesome. You can see how much paint it caught. Filter's white. Lights up here, but bam. A little bit of orange peel. But I'm happy with it. It's a firewall. The gear well. Pretty badass. Can't wait to unmask it. some more parts in. All the bushings and close tolerance bolts for the nose gear. Got the steering boots. Service instructions for the struts. Got the steering for the steering bell crank. These had divots worn into them. Got it welded up. Then the trunnion right here. The stop right here for the steering was broke off. Got those welded up. So should be able to get all the bushings pushed in, reamed, honed, and be able to get all the parts to paint. We'll see. All right, little progress update. Insulation's going in. We are finally putting stuff back together. Got the stuff back from the powder coaters. All that gloss. Check out how the airbox turned out. Freaking beautiful. And then ceramic intake tubes. And come over here to the firewall. Got all the tape pulled. It's starting to go back together. Oh my goodness, can't wait to fly. Progress, more shipments. Here's the old handles for the flap and the parking brake. Put new ones on. Got this all polished up. Let's see what else. Got the oil cooler bracket put together. Getting the brake pedals put together. And whoo, got that bling. It's gonna look good. Those little details. Damn, about 5 miles an hour faster now. Got to make sure the stall's blinged out too. Making some fuel lines. Stuff comes in not fuel lines. Hydraulic lines for the brakes. Making it look all nice and pretty. Stuff comes all coiled up. Kind of straighten it out. Take a tubing straightener. Sit there and jerk it off. Yeah, waiting for the comments on this one. Pretty damn straight. Still working on little detailed stuff. Made a new bracket on the mill for the voltage regulator. Working on brake lines now. Original brake lines. Here's the rudder cable. We're going through the floor. Kind of looked like crap. So I have one screw there to hold all that. So I said, all right, let's make a bracket. So went and got some aluminum stock. Made some new lines. And made a bracket. Looks like it turned out pretty dang good. And we'll get some paint on it. And that screw should hold everything going up to where the reservoir is. And the project never stops. Got to get a little bit done every day. Working on the heat boxes, so here's the original. It's got this little flapper door in it, so that way you can let the heat in and whatnot. And look how rusted it was. So anyways, drilled them apart and found some new rubber right there. Got them all powder coated up. Now we're putting some stainless steel rivets in there. Code, gonna match drill the holes, put the rivets in it. We should be able to put it back on the plane. A little before and a little after. Turned out pretty good. So, got the gasket cut and we're slowly filling more holes on the firewall. A little bit more progress today. Got the bushings in the motor mount. Had to get those made. They're pretty worn out. These weren't too bad, but they were kind of scored, and drilled them out, sorta. Got the tension off of them, punched them out. Getting everything else mic'd. You see those are within tolerance. Got those put in. Gonna get that out to powder tomorrow. Here on the Bridgeport, working on the nose gear steering. All the research found a service letter. You can upgrade the nose wheel aligner. There's a heavy duty bracket. But in order to mount it, we have to ream these holes to 212 thousandths to 204 thousandths. So we have a 13/64 on there. We're about to bore these holes out, put some high shear bolts in there. back at it on the Bridgeport. Had one drag link on the nose gear that the bushing, when I bought a PMA'd one, didn't fit in the hole because it was too worn, so I had to make a custom one on the worn out lathe. But we got it in there. Now we're going to ream it to size. The hole needs to be 0.3745. That's the minimum. So we got the reamer chucked up, and we're going to do it too. On the lathe, it was undersized, so we had to bring it up about 6 thousandths. Used the pin gauges, chucked it up in the R8 collet to center the table on the hole, and change this out for the reamer. So the final cut. That's it. All right, here's all the parts. Everything's rebushed, reamed, honed. There's all the old bushings, old bolts, all the new hardware. Gonna have to blast these, alumiprep them, allodyne them, then mask them, hang them, paint them, well, prime, then paint, and then back on air. We got everything hung, everything masked. Damn, ring around the rosy of parts. Crazy. Hours of work. Finally got the final coat on. Ridiculous how much work this cost, or it took. One more step further to fly. 5 hours of masking and about 2.5 hours of unmasking. All the parts that mate or have anything touching, like a wetted area, had to be masked, so that way you didn't have fretting. That's when the paint rubs off in between everything, and then all your hardware loosens. So that goes there. That's not mated there, so that goes like that. Crazy. What else? Parts like this, the drag link, where they connect the bolt. They sit there and rub. This piece, the cross member, goes here. These pieces go there. And everything matches up to where you can't see any of the allodyne on the backside. A lot of work. That's my favorite part right there. But should be putting it together tomorrow. Can't wait. Oh man, running out of parts. Turned out pretty good. Complying with the service letter, gonna put a little turn toe limit indicator right there. Waiting on a little bit more hardware, but after the motor mounts here, should be able to put this back on the plane. Little update, the engine just came back from the overhaul shop. Hunter's overhaul services. $20 overhaul right there, brought to you by Aircraft Engine Enamel and masking tape. Turned out pretty good. Still got to put check all the valve lash, put the valve train back together in the heads, but about ready to hang on the airplane. Still got to put the mags on once the props on, but tell you what, you use that, it's going to look professional whatever you do. All new safety wire, all new hardware. And a little update because it's been a minute. Nose wheel's back on. Turned out pretty good. Got the new steering stop built. All the ADLs for the harness. Just got to get the actuator rod adjusted, limit switch adjusted, springs installed, all new fuel lines. It's coming together. A couple more weeks. Should have this back together and then up on jacks to do the mains. They're working on the valve train today. Got my pseudo prop so I can turn the crank through. Where do we start? We got the crank with a gear on the back that turns the camshaft. It's got a bunch of egg-shaped things called lobes, which pushes on the tappet, which pushes on the hydraulic lifter, which then pushes on the push rod, which pushes on the rocker, which pushes on the valve, and moves all these. So what we're going to do is we're going to check the lash of the distance between the rocker and the valve. They got to be within 28 thousandths to 80 thousandths per the overhaul manual. And each one of these assemblies is all different lengths, so you can see all the part numbers are slightly different. So when you take it apart, you got to make sure everything's together, and you also have to take all the hydraulic lifters and compress them and dry them and clean them of all the oil, so that way you can get the dry clearance. Once you got your hydraulic lifter cleaned, you can assemble it, and you can see it's got a little bit of spring back. And the idea behind this is there is supposed to be a little bit of lash within the tolerance. Can't be too much, can't be too little. The hydraulic, when it pressurizes with the oil, it takes up all that lash, so it just has to be within tolerance. So with all those parts, we finally put this one back together. So you slide the tappets in there, put the push rods in, the rods go right here, got the rockers, got the rocker boss right here. And to check it, we're gonna go to top dead center, which are already there. And now when you push on it, we're gonna check the clearance between the valve and the rocker. And we're gonna do that 6 times over, and then we'll be able to assemble it, final assembly with all the assembly lube. Stay tuned. We got all the hydraulic lifters in, push rods, rockers, rocker boss, and when the cylinder's on top dead center, you can push on the top of the rocker and measure the gap between the valve and the rocker with a feeler gauge. It's got to be within 28 thousandths to 80 thousandths per the manual. And we found that 4 intakes and 1 exhaust were not within spec, so I'm gonna have to get some oversized push rods, which means the sensor wasn't making full power. The valves weren't opening all the way, but got the push rod tubes in, all new seals, and a lot of chrome. You'd never guess this engine is just coming back from the overhaul shop. Should be making more power, more chrome, more speed. I'm excited. Working on old girl again, hanging a little bit more bling bling, got the exhaust in. So since the cylinders are opposing, they're not in line with each other, this exhaust stack exits at a different angle than that one, and I got to cut that one off because it's too long. And so I'm over here like, how do I calculate that angle? So I'm over here YouTubing how to calculate angles, the parallelograms, and whatnot, thinking my math teacher was right. Well, light bulb went off. I don't need no math. I don't need no math teacher. All you gotta do is just shine a light, and you cast a shadow. Boom, instant angle. Mark it, cut it, done. All right, got the exhaust mounted. Got the other pipe cut. Pretty dang close. Fuel pump's on. Next thing we gotta do is the old exhaust went out right there. And now we got 2 holes. So we're gonna have to start cutting. So yeah. Nerve-wracking, but there's the final product. We're gonna have to flip it over, add some doubler plates to it, rivet it all out, strip it, paint it. A lot easier said than done, but we're getting there. 3 months in the hangar. Finally pulling it out to get some sunlight. Phew, it's looking good. Got the intake tubes on, fuel lines, prop, and ain't no landing gear. Gotta get all that painted. So we're in destruction mode right now. Got all the mains. This is I think the left main. There's the right main. There's the cowling. And these guys, they're taking apart a TBM because the dude just ran it into his hangar. So It's all demolition mode out here today. A little update, still stripping all those parts, and yeah, they got the wing off, so it's a lot of airplane. Hadn't posted an update in a while. The entire landing gear, or the mains, are apart. Just got to strip them so I can iodine them, prime them, and paint them. Been working a lot on the cowling. Lots to strip, a lot of repairs. Put new hinges on for the gear door. They were pretty blown out. Making a little bit of modification. You'll see that here in a bit. But fixed a bunch of holes from the old welting here. Putting the new bowl back on. Well, I say new. I just took it off so I could put it in the cabinet. But it's coming together. What else? New hinges on the gear door. Got that all iodined, all riveted back together. Had an old part. Well, I already threw it away. Oh, no, here it is. The old stringer that reinforces the cowling. This thing right here is all blown out. Pretty crappy repair, so made a new one. Fixed some holes that didn't need to be in the cowling. Let's see, added some nut plates for ease of maintenance later down the road. Should be pretty much done stripping. There's the wheels. Been using the heck out of the blasting cabinet. Main thing, just getting paint on everything, and painting the bottom of the gear wells and everything, and waiting on the exhaust to come back from the ceramic coater. Oshkosh. Plan on it. We'll see. Also forgot to post my prides and joys, the reinforcement for the new exhaust exit. Originally it was just a 90 right there, and replacing most of the class because the steel things are all broke out. Gonna pro seal all the edges, keep the oil out, just preventative maintenance, and then got a couple dents and dings we're gonna fill, sand down, and then paint over. Little Comanche update. It's been a minute. Working on prepping the gear. These trunnions normally crack, so ended up relieving those holes with a little bit of sandpaper. Prepping all this stuff. Ended up getting a new gear door. This one's all bent up, so found another one on eBay. Had to weld it up. Put some filler on it. What else have I been working on? A little fiberglass work. This is my first attempt at fiberglass, so don't judge. Just repairing a couple holes there. This cowling. Oh my goodness, this cowling has taken a lot of work. Working on some body filler. Had a couple dents and dings. Replaced all the clasps, all the attach for the upper cowling. And what else? Oh, got the reinforcements riveted on and made for the new exhaust. New hinge points for the nose gear. And one of my favorite parts. So I got a little attach point here with the pivot. A stowaway point here and up there just to kind of hold it. It's not great, but it's a whole lot better than pretty much modeling the C model Comanches. But you see, there it is stowed. And you know, it wouldn't be me if we didn't add a little bit more bling bling, but got all the cowling attaches, chrome. There's the old one right there. It's all riveted up, and it was shiny, but not chrome shiny. But here's the old hinge points for the nose wheel. They're all blown out. You can see all worn out. And all the old. It's my trash, not trash box. Bunch of stuff that's trash, but I don't have the heart to throw it away, or I need to keep referencing it. But I don't know. Oshkosh is coming up soon. Got a lot more work.